What is up, you guys? Boom! Welcome back to another video from True Nerdgasm. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Remember, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe for future content because we're going to be pumping out as much as I possibly can with the situation that I have been given. Also, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and we are going to get into today's video. This is one of my comic edition videos, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, guys, so in the past few weeks, we have been given WandaVision. Okay, so I wanted to do a video on Scarlet Witch. As one of my favorite X-Men characters, my favorite mutants, I figured I would give you a little background on who she really is. Because I know that some people that watch the MCU don't really know exactly where these characters come from, and I wanted to give you just a little bit of info on one of the characters that are beginning to be a fan favorite in the MCU. So let's start. Okay, so Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, has been making waves since she appeared in Avengers. Her comic book character, though, is somewhat different. So we are going to give you just a little background. Her character actually started all the way back in March of 1964. She was her first appearance was in X-Men number 4. Her creator was none other than the late great Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Now, most depictions of her character portray her as a mutant, and her father being Magneto, and her half sister being Polaris. Which, if you've seen I can't even think of the name of the show at this moment, but there's a show that deals with mutants on TV, or was on TV, and it actually shows who Polaris is. And if y'all haven't given that a watch, I highly recommend it. It's pretty fun to watch. Um, in later issues, she was actually married to Vision, which you're seeing that in the show. And she does have two twins, being Thomas and William, which y'all are actually finally getting to see. Now, her powers have included enhanced magical abilities, time manipulation, energy and matter manipulation, teleportation, and as most fans have just now been introduced to in the series, reality manipulation. So she wasn't given a brother, being Quicksilver, until the retcon of the 80s. That's when she was actually shown as the twin with Quicksilver. And it wasn't until the 90s when they actually changed her origins to being a subject of a science experiment. That's when they actually took away Magneto being her father. They were actually just misled to believe that. So throughout the years, Scarlet Witch has been a part of several teams. I mean, you've already seen her be in the Avengers, but she was also in Defenders, A-Force, and even Brotherhood of Mutants, which they've actually shown that on some of the TV shows. Now, her notable partnerships were, of course, Quicksilver, Agatha Harkness, and Vision. Now, Agatha Harkness is also in the new series, or at least potentially in the series, and y'all have already seen her in Agatha, and she's actually, in the comic book, she's actually a true witch, and she was actually around during the Salem witch trials. And so she's got a pretty cool character too, for being just like a side character, in my opinion. So I don't want to touch on the series a whole lot, but I will say it is nice to see that they're actually showing just how powerful she really can be. Now, again, this is just a background of the character, and I'm thinking about doing this more often if you guys are interested in this, so let me know. But so we'll move into the final portion of the video. This video is going to be a short one, and that's the way I plan this to be. So I hope it's been, if anything, just a little informative. Now, if you want to read more of Scarlet Witch, I'd like to give you just a couple little story arcs that shows just how great her character really is. So we're going to start. I'm just going to give you two, just to give you a little bit of a starting point for her character in the comics. Of course, I do recommend reading her first appearance because that just, that's the start. It's always fun to just go back and just rewatch or reread where the characters actually begin. So, the first story is Axis. See, in Axis, she actually attempts to team up with Doctor Strange. They were casting a spell, but that literally ultimately fails, and that actually leads Doctor Doom to replacing Doctor Strange. Now, the whole failure in this actually causes a major switch in moralities for the heroes and villains that were in that area during this time. So the story definitely shows a different side of a bunch of characters. Quicksilver's in there, Magneto. It's definitely a fun story, and I don't want to give too much away on it, but you get to see a more evil side of Scarlet Witch. It's just a fun story. So the only other story that I want to touch on, of course, is well, let's we have to touch on the House of M, which is literally one of my favorite, I would say top 10 favorite Marvel story arcs. And this was released in 2005. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis, and it just shows how powerful Wanda truly is. Which, just like the series, in this, she actually changes the entire world using her reality manipulation. And with this, she actually even she changes the entire world. Okay, she actually goes and actually takes powers away from people, gives power to other people. 90, I would say majority, if not all, of mutants actually disappear. It's a really cool story arc, especially the way it begins, showing her pregnant and stuff like that, and getting ready to have the babies. So, if anything, this is definitely one story you want to read, even if you're in the middle of this series that we're watching now on Disney. It's definitely worth the time to read through this story. I think the main story arc is only like 5 or 6 issues. I've got them at my house. I definitely, when I was able to pick them up, I picked them up because it's definitely one of the ones that are worth the read. Even if you've never read comics before, you just enjoy the TV movie aspect of it, this is definitely one that I would recommend reading. Okay, guys, so that's all the background that I'm going to give on Scarlet Witch today. In the comments below, make sure you tell me which characters you want a background on my channel. I am planning on doing this a little more often because this is actually where I've gained like the want to do a YouTube channel, is to be able to find people to talk to about comics and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of my favorite subjects to touch on. So I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this. If you did, again, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications. That way you can be notified next time I do a video, whether it be this one, a card one, or a video game stream. Make sure you're here to join in on the conversation. And guys, I appreciate it. Thank you.